Emergency services teams across Gauteng are calling on communities to remain alert during the tumultuous weather conditions expected for Monday. Now, this follows yellow level 5 warnings issued by the South African Weather Services of possible disruptive rain over parts of the province. Tshwane Emergency Services has cautioned residents to stay indoors and avoid crossing flooded roads and low-lying bridges. They also warned that traffic disruptions may occur due to major roads being flooded. Emergency services further alerted on minor to major vehicle accidents that may occur due to poor driving visibility and slippery road conditions. All right, to speak more on this, let's now welcome Johannesburg Emergency Services spokesperson Robert Mulaudzi. Robert, a very good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time. Just give us then a sense of how, as an emergency services unit, your response is during level warnings. The South African Weather Services has now issued a yellow level 5 warning. What does that mean in terms of your operations?
Good afternoon, Sesunati and the viewers out there. So far in the city of Johannesburg, we have got our monitoring teams in all 7 regions of the city since we got this warning yesterday. Yesterday on Sunday it was level 2, so we already activated all the units which we require. And we had a lot of rainfall, but not like the one which we have been receiving from this morning. So we already had our disaster management monitoring teams in all 7 regions of the city, monitoring most especially our low-lying areas, which will be our informal settlements, because we know most of those residents are already residing along a flood line, which they get affected as and when we have severe thunderstorms like the ones we have. So that will be one of our responsibilities, to ensure that the safety of the residents. We have to ensure that we've got all the specialized teams on high alert. For instance, our aquatic rescue unit, which is a specialized team which responds to water-related emergencies, has been on high alert from yesterday. All our fire stations are fully operational. We had to make sure that we also activate our disaster management center to be on high alert. So we've got all this in place to ensure that as and when we have emergencies, we can coordinate effectively and respond to all the emergencies which might occur. So right now, Cincinnati, we are happy to inform our residents out there that so far we have not yet received any major incidents which have been reported throughout the city of Johannesburg in all 7 regions of the city, including our residents in our informal settlements. We have not yet find ourselves in a situation where maybe we had to evacuate people from one area to another. So we're still encouraging our residents to exercise caution, especially our residents in our low-lying areas, to ensure that when they're conducting their daily activities, they avoid crossing river streams so that we prevent incidents where they might be swept away while they're trying to cross those areas.
Yeah, I would imagine that the weather services warnings do help you a lot in being, proactive in terms of your reaction time and also just your operations in general. Now, of course, we were also earlier reporting that Tshwane, emergency services also cautioning residents to be careful around this time of the year. Is there ever a time where you then need to, go to another city, as an example, just to reinforce services there? Do you work together? How well coordinated are you, would you say?
Yeah, we in Gauteng, I think we are fortunate enough that we have got programs which are in place. For instance, if you're talking about the fire service, we have got a platform, we call it, it's a Gauteng Peer Working Group, which is a group of officials in the fire service in Gauteng, where we go out to educate our communities out there to be able to have the necessary skills to deal with in situations like this. So from our side, we physically go out to communities, especially in our informal settlements, where we conduct programs together to ensure that our residents are informed about, flood safety, how to use whistles to inform the other residents to evacuate. If it's a fire season, we will, of course, train our residents about, safety around fires and so on. So that working relationship, it continues. We normally conduct exercises in terms of our, emergencies and disasters and so on. So the working relationship is always there. Hence, we are able to utilize our social media platform. For instance, you spoke about the alerts. So we are able to inform our residents out there through our social media platform. It can be Twitter, Facebook, or local radio, community radio stations to inform our residents as to what is it that is expected from them. Hence, maybe so far we don't have maybe major incidents reported because of the utilizing of those platforms which we have.
Yeah. Robert, earlier, of course, you mentioning some good news, no incidents reported so far. We know, of course, in Johannesburg, at least, I would imagine, in most cities, we have these flood-prone roads, and there's also a warning that at those particular areas. In the event that somebody is, finds themselves in a situation where the road that they're traveling in does get flooded and it happens so fast, what then should they do in terms of just reaching out to emergency services and getting some help?
Yes, firstly, Sismati, we need to plead with our motorists out there. I think we must be bold enough to say, we have seen in the past, they like to take chances to cross flooded areas, especially our public transport, our taxis, those mode of vehicles which are ferrying a lot of passengers, like a taxi. So they will try and remove, even if the road is blocked, they will remove the road barricades and try and get into that area where it's flooded. Maybe because, they want to get to where they are going, but we're pleading with them to work with us. Because as long as we still have our motorists taking a chance to cross these areas, we're still going to have people who are stranded. Like, for instance, now on this rush hour traffic, which you're going to have now after between 4 up until 6 o'clock, we'll normally receive a lot of incidents where vehicles are trapped because of motorists trying to take a chance to cross flooded roads. So we're pleading with them, please respect law enforcement agencies will be there to direct you if a road is blocked. Don't try and take a chance to cross those areas. But if you do find yourself stranded in an emergency, try and climb on top of that vehicle and call for emergency services to try and delay, situations where maybe that vehicle might be flooded. Of course, our residents who normally practice, various religious beliefs, we don't want to leave them behind. We know that most of the river streams in the city, especially Jackskay, Kalfontein, and also Klip Valley River Stream, all of those river streams, they are already now full, meaning that these faith-based organizations, they might be tempted now to try and go and conduct these baptisms and cleansing rituals. We are pleading with them to refrain from going to these areas because right now the risk is much more higher of being swept away while they're conducting these rituals. We are not against any religion or any religious belief, but we believe that we need to take responsibility of our actions so that we prevent some of these incidents which might occur.
Robert, thank you so much for that. Obviously, I hope South Africans do heed that call, particularly in Gauteng, as we have this particular warning. Thank you so much for your time. Robert Mulaudzi is the Johannesburg Emergency Services spokesperson. Of course, the South African Weather Services has issued a yellow level 5 warning in Gauteng.